Now in Excel, if you're using the histogram tool and you put the input range, selecting the cells, and you don't put in a bin range, then Excel makes its own bin ranges. So say for example here, it says, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, although our waiting times are 5, 10, 15, 20. So it shows the frequency for 5. It puts the frequency for 10 in this between 8 and 11 is 14. It puts the 15s out here. So if you don't want this, you'll have to make your own bins. Some questions ask you to make your own bins. Some questions tell you do not group the data into bins. So let's say if one of the questions asks you to make your own bins, so you'll have to look at what the data says and then make the bins accordingly. So in this case, when I use the histogram, I'll have to choose this as the bin range. And there I get some nice bins. So it gives me the same data. So 5 has come 11 times, 10 has come 14 times, 15 has come 3 times, 20 has come 2 times. So it gives me on the numbers that come out here. Okay, if you don't group the data into bins, which Excel does automatically for you, so it'll make up its own bins, which sometimes don't correspond exactly with your data. Right. The other thing you have to do, you have to watch out for, is when you're doing this, you have to check, whether the labels checkbox is checked. So in this case, if I'm selecting waiting time as well, then I have to make sure the labels checkbox is checked. If I've written bins on top here and I've selected this as well, then I have to make sure that the labels checkbox is checked. So in this case, if I select the label here, bins, and in this case, if I select the label here, waiting time, then I have to make sure the labels checkbox is checked. If I do not check this box and I try making histogram somewhere here, it's going to tell me the input range contains non-numeric data because I've selected the labels waiting time and bins. Okay, so then if I check the labels, since I've selected waiting time and bins, it'll put this in. Now, the other mistake some people do is select the checkbox labels but don't include the labels. So let's say, for example, instead I started this here without the label waiting time, and this here I started without the label bins, but I still have the labels checkbox checked. So then it's going to think that this first number 10 is the label and this first number here 5 is the label. So in this case, it's going to put 5 as the label. It's going to give me the wrong numbers because it thinks this first 10 is the label and that 5 there is the label.